welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about Zone Troopers, which was one of the films made by Charles Band as a producer, directed by Danny Billson, and it was directed by Billson and his writing partner Paul DeMeo, who also wrote transfers for Charles Band, as well as they wrote The Rocketeer, the Disney film The Rocketeer. And then they went on and made the Flash TV show. They went into video games after that and did a lot of video games. But in the 80s, they were writers who did fun B movies. That's what their big thing was. So this is a lovely box. And it's from 88 films, so there's still some available. And this is the old cover. You can get the same cover from this. It's a two-sided cover. You get commentaries in this thing, you get interviews, you get making of. You have Kim Newman talking about the film as well. He loves the film. But the film itself is just definitely worth seeing. It's just so wonderful. And a great example of, low budget invention. This is a film that if they remade it, they'd spend a fortune on it and it wouldn't have half the charm. Because what the film is basically it's guys in World War II in Italy in 1944, and they're on the charge against the Nazis. The Nazis are fighting back, and we're with this one squad who are basically a bigger squad that get cut down to size so they don't have to spend a lot of money on actors so for too long. So most of the squad gets killed off in the first few minutes during an attack by the Nazis, and the last few of members of the squad have to go on the run, as well as a reporter who's with them, who was covering a story for them at the time. So you've got the sergeant played by Tim Thomerson, who's in charge. He's a gruff, no nonsense, character who is brave and will sacrifice himself for the men, and is a wonderful character, and it's done perfect with Tim Thomerson. Understands how to be serious with the character but not be too serious, to suggest the actor knows it's a type, it's a send up, but also it's to be genuine at the same time. He understands that. All the actors understand what kind of parts they're playing. You've got Tim Van Patten, who went on to be a director of The Sopranos and various other big shows, Games of Thrones, Homicide, Oz, stuff like that. He's basically been done directing in almost all the really great shows. He's one of those directors that a lot of the big kind of showrunners of the big important shows all come to, because he knows what he's doing. So he moved from being a minor actor to being a bigger TV director. He's the young guy here. He's the innocent guy who likes comic books, likes sci-fi, and he's charming and he's enthusiastic. You've got the gruff guy with the big gun, played by Art LaFleur, who's loyal to the sergeant, and he's a guy you send in to punch people and shoot people, and he's like the muscle of the group. Again, it's a case of an actor understands perfectly what the level he has to be at in this film, and doing it great. And you finally got the reporter, this older guy who's there to actually write a story about Tim Thomerson's character, because everyone's heard about him, and Thomerson doesn't want anything to do with it. So those four are behind enemy lines. After the attack, they get split up because two of them decide to go hunting. At the same time, the young guy thinks he's an alien, which makes him think he's been reading too many comics and throws his comic in the fire. He thinks, oh my god, did I get hit in the head or something? Why am I suddenly seeing aliens? I must be going mental because of stress. It's that thing where he thinks he's lost his mind. But no, an alien has crashed, and there's a Nazi camp nearby who are trying to investigate the alien crash site. Two of the troops get there before them, while the other two troops investigate because when they go hunting, they don't find any hunt, but they find the Nazi stuff and end up going to investigate, and they get caught. The other two guys who are in the alien spaceship don't get caught, but they get surrounded at one point by the Nazis, but find a way through it, and end up blowing up the spaceship with most of the Nazis inside. Other things happen, escapes, meeting with aliens, all that stuff. You get a lot of gung-ho action scenes done in a low budget, but mainly what you've got is a bunch of character actors having fun with their types. At one point, Hitler shows up at the camp to see the alien thing, and he gets punched by the gruff guy with the guns. So yeah, Hitler gets punched in this movie, and basically, it's made by people who know the tropes of a group of grunts behind enemy lines having to survive. But in this case, there's an alien involved. And it was like a film that was made a lot in the 50s. And it was shown a lot on TV in the 60s and 70s. That's probably why these writers saw it and thought, let's do that with aliens. Or someone saw it and said, let's do that with aliens. But they understand the tone perfectly. Because it basically is, it's a genre movie where suddenly aliens show up. And it's so charming. Everyone knows their job. They're doing it at a low budget, so they're up front. This is a lower budget film. The aliens will not look amazing. The special effects will not look amazing, but the charm of them, and they'll do them as best they can. And it's done in a way that, because it refers to 1930s and 40s sci-fi, everything's done with ray guns and spaceships that look very Buck Rogersy, which gives it a charm. So it's almost like you're seeing aliens from the imagination of the people in that time. It's not the way we would imagine aliens, it's the way they would imagine aliens in the 40s. So it gives them an excuse to have lower budget suits and spaceships, but still have a charm to it, so it feels like it's a throwback film. You can imagine John Carpenter making a film like this if he'd got that script. You can imagine him doing this film. It's just wonderful. It's just so charming, so beautifully made. But all the actors are good, and the costumes are good for what they need. Yeah, they're a bit too clean, but the way that most of these movies in the 50s and 60s, the costumes are a bit clean for all the stuff they go through. The Nazis are stock Nazis played by character actors from Italy who yell a lot, but it's toned down just right, so that some of all these Nazis are buffoons, but they're the right level of buffoonery. No one goes way over the top. Everyone is just the right level of loud, and or the right level of ham for the film. Like the actors playing the Nazis, they know exactly what the tropes are, and they're playing them perfectly. And the aliens react perfectly as well. They're not evil aliens, but they have their own agenda, and it's just a lovely, pulpy sci-fi movie that, the astonishing thing is, you think, why was this film never made in the 50s? This seems like an obvious thing with soldiers and aliens were both big things in the 50s. No one combined them like this. I mean, you saw soldiers killed by aliens in War of the Worlds and things, but there was never an actual movie with the military dealing with aliens. I mean, the closest you got was a thing, and that was a base up in Antarctica, So, it is like a film, you're thinking, why has this film not been made before? And it's one of those ones that's like, I'm amazed it hasn't been remade, because it seems such an obvious film to be made. But the film actually was released, did okay, then get more culty as it went along. Apparently, the people who made it, Charles Band Group, didn't quite get it. They were expecting more of an exploitation film. There's a charming little, character film for aliens. So I think the studio behind it didn't quite get it. But now it's made, now it's on release. Again, it's a chance to see it, because it is really worth your while. I didn't even know it was released. I only checked up on it because I watched the Empire of Dreams box set, and I was talking about Stone Troopers. I checked it up, and it was like, this is released. I didn't even know it was released. Because I remember it from the video shop era in the 80s, but I just assumed it was one of those films that's still not been released. So It is available, so go watch it. It's really enjoyable. So, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you later. Bye.